All right. What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bear With Me. I'm super pumped you're all here. If you've been sticking with me since the beginning, thank you. I appreciate you. If you're new, welcome to the channel. I hope you like what you see, and I hope you're going to be back for more. Now, you ever catch yourself kind of overcomplicating things? Like you're always searching, chasing something, but in the process, you're kind of moving further and further away from who you are and who you want to be. Listen, man, in a world full of bullshit and a bunch of fake nonsense, I find the smartest thing sometimes that you can do is just go back to being you. And I'm not talking about no curated, polished version of yourself that you think everybody wants to see. I'm talking about that raw, unfiltered version of yourself that's gotten you this far. That motherfucker who was in the muck, getting through, in the trenches, doing what he had to do to get to where you are, to be where you are today. I'm talking about getting back to that, back to the basics, back to what works. So before I dive into it a little bit more, I'm going to have to ask y'all, as per usual, bear with me. So, getting back to the basics. We live in a time right now where it feels super easy to feel like you're falling behind, or like everybody else is getting ahead and you're just stuck where you are and you're stagnant. And you see somebody else doing something and they're doing it their way and they're winning. So you're like, oh, hey, maybe I need to pivot. Maybe I need to do it like they're doing it. But no, that's not what you need. What you need is to double down on what you do. Double down on yourself. Double down and trust the person that you are. Again, look back and see all the shit you've been through, how far you've come, and understand that that version of yourself, who you've been doing and how you've been grinding, has gotten to you to where you are today. So stick with what you know. Stick with the version of that, right? The dude who showed up when nobody clapped. You didn't want to be there. It was raining outside. You had to go for a run and you went for it, right? It's the person who built something out of nothing. You had absolutely nothing. Everybody turned their back on you. Maybe you lost your parents. Maybe your girlfriend dumped you. You lost your crib. You lost your kids. You lost your money. And you still are here today breathing. And you're still chugging through and you're still getting by and doing what you do. Stick to that version. You learned how to grind. You learned how to adapt. You learned how to rise up when nobody gave a flying fuck about what you're doing. And you did it on your own. And that says something. Right? And your version of success might not look like the next man's version of success, and it shouldn't. Your foundation is yours. So stop second guessing it. So many times, I mean, even myself included, I'll look and I see other people kind of doing what's trending, or they'll get a whole bunch of views, or, I see them, they just bought a new car, they just, they're doing all their stuff. A lot of the time, man, when you see that shit, it's fake as fuck. They broke. They got nobody around them, and they ain't in a good place. Now, I'm not saying they ain't doing what they're doing in their existence to get to where they need to be. Kudos to them. But just because they're doing it that way, don't mean you got to pivot and shift what you're doing and try and copycat the next dude. Right? How many times in life have you been sitting out there just trying your hardest to do what you do? But you just don't feel right doing it because it doesn't feel you. It always feels scripted. It always feels fake. It always feels like you're faking or telling some bullshit lie. How many times you do that? And then you hit a point where you can't take it anymore. You don't want to do it no more. And then what happens? That's when you pivot back and you start being who you are. And you start doing what you want to do. And you start fucking with shit that you fuck with, that you're knowledgeable, that you have confidence in because that's you. And then everything starts to line up and hit for you. And you're like, damn, how many times am I going to have to learn the lesson of going back to being me? Sticking to the basics. I remember when I was playing football, I used to go to the park with my boy like at least 3-4 times a week. And all we would do would run routes. And it was just running routes. And those were some of the funnest times because what we would do is we'd watch these videos of some dudes doing it. And then we'd practice it all week in a practice. And then come game time, we'd go and hit that and we'd try. But when you're just running routes on air, it don't work like that in a game. You got somebody in front of you putting hands on you. You got to fight. So it ain't all that pretty. And I remember one day I was mad frustrated. And my coach came up to me and he grabbed me and he said, yo, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, no, really, what are you doing? Your routes look like shit. Like, what is this new style with this little head shake? Like, what are you doing? And he was like, yo, go back to doing what you do. Go back to the basics. Now, mind you, this is like, it was late in the game. I think it was halfway through the third quarter. I had maybe one catch, 10 yards. I ended up finishing that game with 2 tutties and 76 receiving yards. It was one of my best games because I got two tutties, which was an accomplishment for me. And the second I went out on that field, that next play after he told me that, and I started doing what I did, and I brought it back to the basics, get by the guy, get up, turn his hips, stem him. Boom. I started getting open, started making things happen. Why? Because I got back to what I know. I got back to the basics of who I was and how I played. I didn't need to be, I think it was at the time, I didn't need to be Antonio Brown. I didn't need to be, Andre Johnson. I needed to be Nigel motherfucking Thomas. You know what I'm talking about? NT15. Nigel Thomas, number 15. That quick motherfucker who went up and got it. And the second I did that, everything started to change. And that kind of made me think in life a lot about every time I kind of deviate and I catch myself feeling lost, I realize, and it reteaches me the lesson, that I'm trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm trying to do something that I am not, or be somebody who I am not. So it's a lesson that we're always constantly relearning. And I think when it comes to even lifting in the gym, sometimes I'll hit a plateau and I'll feel like, oh man, I need to change the way I'm lifting. Maybe I'm not doing this right now. No, idiot. It's because you're trying all these stupid new techniques. And what got you here? What got you jacked up? What got you to the place you want to be? Aside from steroids. Nah, but for real, what got me here? And you know what it was? It was getting under the bar and pushing that weight. I didn't need no suicide grip. I didn't need no straps around. No, I needed to push the weight and I needed to feel it. Sometimes it was ugly, yeah. But I went back to the basics and you start getting that progression in the gym again. There's all kinds. Everything, man. When you stick to the basics and you go grinding, for example, sales. Okay? If you're in sales, you can attest to this. And we'll go for call center sales. I've done all kinds of sales. We'll go call center, right? If you go and you have a week where you're having a tough week, what happens? You're like, man, why isn't this working? Why am I selling? Why aren't I doing this? Why can't I get people on the phone? And then you go back and you look at your week and you realize that you've been fucking off. You've been taking extra breaks. You've been sipping your coffee. You've been chit-chatting with friends. And you're like, man, why that week that I had 20 sales, why can't I get that again? And then you look at the stats from that week and you realize you're making 200 calls a day talking. You're just on that phone dialing. And you realize, oh, right. Because I was putting in that work. I stuck to the basics. What do they do when they teach you? They say just shut up and dial. Smile and dial. Hello? Hello? And what happens? It pays off because you stick to the basics. You go back to what you know. Stop trying all these fancy little techniques. Stop trying to find that one diamond in the rough. Just go back. Get in the trenches. Do the work. Stick to the basics. Stick to the footwork. You got to be able to walk before you can run. So go get that walk in and get some good form on it. You feel me? Stick to the basics. Going back to the basics ain't a step backwards either. It's a step deeper. It's a step deeper into discipline. It's a step deeper into alignment. It's a step deeper into your purpose. Because the truth is, you don't need all the other nonsense. You don't. What you need is to reinvent yourself every other week. And when you reinvent yourself, you have to have that foundation. You have to have that base of what works for you. So what do? Always return to your core. Every time, return to the core you. Return to that raw you. That unapologetic motherfucker that just got it done. right? And success is never about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And it's about doing what matters better. So keep that in your back pocket. Keep that in mind. Every time you're like, man, success, I got to do more. No, it's not necessarily about doing more. It's about doing what matters and doing it better. So keep that in mind, right? So here's the challenge for you. This week, I want you to strip it back. Go back to the training, the mindset, the morning routine, the meals, the habits, the shit that's really you. The shit the habits that's really you. And the things that are real for you. Cut out the nonsense, cut out the bullshit, block out the distractions, fuck them, you don't need them. Get back to being you. Because when you chase the dream, and you chase that dream and you're chasing it hard as the real you, not some sort of watered down version, some pussy that you won't think everybody's gonna like. They either respect you or they step the fuck out your way. So either way you win. Because you're cutting the nonsense, you're getting the people out your way that don't fuck with you. And the people that do, they're gonna respect you even more. Alright? So that was just a little something I wanted to get off my chest. So when you're going into the week, like I said, the challenge is strip it all back, take it away, go back to the training, the mindset, the routine, the meals, the habits that is you, the core you, that person that made you and got you to where you are today. So look back, go look in the mirror and tell yourself, you know what, this is the week I'm going to do it all. I'm going back to the fucking basics and I'm going to get me mines. All right? So chin up, chest out. You know what it is. And once again, I have to thank y'all. And I have to say, thank you for bearing with me.